So in the most recent lecture, I said that we can look at the gases in the Earth's atmosphere, and we can differentiate gases as either being permanent gases in that they have a relatively stable concentration in the Earth's atmosphere, or being variable, in which their concentration varies. And actually, carbon dioxide falls under the category of being a variable gas in the Earth's atmosphere. When we talk about gases in the Earth's atmosphere, we can talk about we can talk about sources, and that is to say that a source is taking, an atmospheric source is taking basically carbon or carbon dioxide from the Earth, from the geosphere, into the atmosphere. So sources of getting carbon dioxide into the atmosphere would include these. Now I've listed some, they fall under two categories. We can have natural sources of getting carbon dioxide into the Earth's atmosphere, and we can have anthropogenic sources of carbon dioxide into the Earth's atmosphere. Natural, when animals, such as ourselves, when we breathe, we exhale, in our exhalation, we exhale carbon dioxide. So we are a source of carbon dioxide for the atmosphere. You can also see listed here that when organic matter decays, also carbon dioxide is released, as well as when during volcanic activity we can get an extra dose of carbon dioxide from the geosphere out into the atmosphere. So those are all sources. And then, of course, I listed anthropogenic sources of carbon dioxide. That is actually of concern to us these days, I think, because as we burn more and more fossil fuels, or just burn any fossil fuels, one of the things like gas or oil or coal, carbon dioxide is released during that burning. And so that's another source. And anthropogenic means of men, just like as, or women, but of human beings. If you're an you know what I mean? 3, 2, 1. If you're an anthropologist, you study humans. So those are sources. And then we talk about sinks as being ways in which atmospheric sink is where you can take carbon dioxide from the atmosphere back to the geosphere or somewhere else. It might be oceans, you know. So if you remove carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, that's an example of a sink. So when green things, when plants undergo the process of photosynthesis, plants will take in carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and incorporate it in their chlorophyll. And in that case, they are acting as a carbon dioxide sink. Another sink up here is, I mentioned, large bodies of water. Actually, large bodies of water can be a place where gaseous carbon dioxide can dissolve and has dissolved in the past. So I think this is great. A picture's worth 1,000 words. I just would emphasize that, do you see where all of the up arrows are sources, atmospheric sources for carbon dioxide? All the red up arrows, and all the blue down arrows are sinks for carbon dioxide. So we're probably familiar with the water cycle, okay, how water goes from the Earth's surface, evaporates, it can condense into clouds and precipitates, that sort of thing. So that's the water cycle, and here we have the carbon, or the carbon dioxide cycle. I want to show you two trends, actually, with regard to carbon dioxide in the Earth's atmosphere, because we said that it is a variable gas. And the first trend I want to talk about isn't the notorious trend where kind of year after year we are increasing our carbon dioxide in the Earth's atmosphere because of burning fossil fuels. But I want to kind of show you, and you'll see it on the next slide, kind of a wiggle, a seasonal wiggle. Each year, we kind of have what we call a carbon dioxide maximum and a minimum. And it has to do with plants. Okay, so the thing with plants is plants are a carbon dioxide sink. So when plants are very active, they will go ahead and remove carbon dioxide from the Earth's atmosphere. So here's the deal. You figure springtime, you know, plants have been dormant, they're coming back, and they begin to start to kind of get their legs, and then everything turns green. So actually, there is kind of a lag, and when plants are flourishing, plants will bring down CO2 concentrations in the Earth's atmosphere because they are sinks. So actually, there is a lag between them getting started. It's not until about fall that we have our carbon dioxide minimum. Okay, so we have a minimal carbon dioxide in the fall, and then 6 months later we kind of have a maximum carbon dioxide in the spring. That makes sense, and you're going to see this trend here in a minute. Then, of course, the other trend is like I said, the notorious trend throughout the years as we continue to burn fossil fuels for energy. We are emitting more and more carbon dioxide into the Earth's atmosphere. Okay. Oh, the other thing I have up here that would be part of kind of the year-to-year increasing the concentration of carbon dioxide in the Earth's atmosphere would be the fact that we are removing trees and, of course, deforestation. And as we remove trees, we remove the tree's ability to be sinks for carbon dioxide. So carbon dioxide can build up where otherwise with the tree at least we have a sink in that case. So deforestation adds to the amount of carbon dioxide ultimately in the Earth's atmosphere. So here we go. Here is the trend I was talking about. You can kind of see it starts in the year 1960 and it goes up to, pretty darn up to date, looks like 2012 or so. And so the overall trend of increasing carbon dioxide, and but can you see, and I'll just kind of highlight one of the wiggles. Okay, can you kind of see this wiggle? Each time there's a wiggle, that's another year. So we have the autumnal minimum in carbon dioxide, okay, because plants have flourished and they are being as great a sink as they can. And then we have the spring max of carbon dioxide.